Let me ask first if you see any clear winners across the continent. Is Frankfurt leading out over other cities like Paris, Madrid, Luxembourg even, to attract bankers from Brexit?
I don't think that we have any clear winners so far. Everybody will take their fair share from companies moving away from the UK.
In terms of where you expect, though, to ultimately be that winner, do you think one will emerge? Do you think finance has a tendency towards aggregation? There are reasons for it. London is obviously the beneficiary of that at the moment. There are reasons to be in the same place. Therefore, do you think one winner will emerge?
Well, I guess today it is all about accessibility to top talent, and therefore you will see where you get the best talent for a specific industry. And that's why I believe that London will do pretty fine, even though we have this difficulty around the Brexit negotiations. But as long as the talent wants to stay in London, that will drive a lot of the corporate decisions. So I think it's a very different decision between banks or what we have seen around Unilever and other companies moving away from the UK with their headquarters.
Christian, what are the key determinants of where companies go? When you sit down and talk to CEOs, they talk about sort of schools being important. They talk about network capability as being important. What are the key determinants? It can't just be office space. There are other factors that are into the mix. So once you get into the sort of granularity of this, kind of what is it that companies are making decisions based upon?
I think the big shift is that when you go 10 years back, taxes and subsidies played an important role. This has now moved down the list very far. It's all about talent. How do I get the best talent into my organization? And that leads you very quickly to the question of what type of universities are in that area, what type of talent are they bringing to surface, what is the overall livability of a place. And with that livability piece, you have lots of aspects. You just mentioned schools, very important, pollution, cost of living, what can I do after work. So these aspects are becoming more and more important. I mean, we clearly have today situations where corporates move to the talent and not talents are moving to the corporates.
What do you expect this to do to prices, Christian? I mean, Germany already has, citizens up in arms about the appreciation of real estate, the inflation of real estate. In Frankfurt, do you expect it to climb even higher because of Brexit?
I don't know whether it's because of Brexit, but we expect prices to climb even higher. I mean, people do want to live around the big cities. And that is not only around Frankfurt, that is a trend across the world. And with a lack of construction coming into the places strongly enough, compared to the influx of people, prices will just climb, and that has an impact. I mean, if you look at the Silicon Valley, which ticks all the boxes around livability, access to talent, and great universities, house prices are now so far over the top that people cannot just afford it anymore, and therefore now corporates are expanding outside of the Silicon Valley and move into other places in the US. And so this is a trend which is very, very important, and you can only recommend to local leaders from the municipalities that they deal with it and allow enough land to be built so that we have more resi space coming to market.
Does Frankfurt have the infrastructure to hold another 5,000, 6,000 bankers? I mean, you mentioned schools. Are there enough international schools there?
Well, international schools have grown massively over the last 10 years, and they will continue to grow. Obviously, that is a challenge now to bring them out of the ground that quickly and get talented teachers over. But I think most of it is privately obviously organized, and so they will adapt to the new situation. It's just a new market for them, and so we will see them growing. The question around whether Frankfurt has enough space for more resi is more a question around the wider region of the Main-Rhine area. I Frankfurt in itself is a pretty small town by size, but the region has enough space. So the cooperation between the different places has to increase.
Christian, you bring up the issue of universities, and this is something that really interests me at the moment. The UK has a high proportion of the world's top 10 universities. University College London, Imperial, Oxford, Cambridge. If companies are thinking of leaving the UK and one of your key metrics is the availability of talent coming out of universities, why would you leave the UK?
Well, I don't think we have that much evidence yet that so many companies are leaving the UK, so let's see how that is really playing out. We have the financial industry, which has some issues around passporting, and so that would be a driver if that is not being resolved. And then we have other companies who may have taken now a decision for focusing their headquarters, like we have seen with Unilever. To what degree that is really connected to Brexit, or whether Brexit discussions is just a great excuse for taking a decision, is a different story. I think we have to wait how things are playing out. Nevertheless, I would always say you can't leave a 500 million market without having an impact on yourself. And so we will see some decisions against the UK. But I think it's too early to call. The universities are still top. And the question of where do I have access to talent is a clear priority around the world. And so this will always be a big plus for the UK.